Okay, good morning. So up to Siman Shin Chof Hey Seif Dalet. Okay, says the Mechaber, Pas she'ofa eni Yehudi la'atzma b'Shabbos. If a non-Jewish person baked bread for himself on Shabbos, yesh oisrim v'yesh matirim. Are you allowed to partake of that bread? And of course, we're talking about bread which is kosher. The whole issue over here is whether we're concerned shemayara b'shviloi, whether he's going to, all that those sort of issues. So yesh oisrim v'yesh matirim. So are you allowed to eat bread that the non-Jewish person baked for himself on Shabbos? Two opinions. Yesh oisrim v'yesh matirim. B'shas hadchak letzorech mitzvah in extenuating circumstances, or for a mitzvah, kagoin sudas bris milo tzorech birchas hamoitzi, you need for a Shabbos meal. Yesh lismech ala matirin to allow you to eat it. Avol also litin le'mois me'erev Shabbos. You can't pay him on erev Shabbos for sheyitzin pas b'Shabbos, so that he'll give you bread on Shabbos. Da'ozadai to Yisrael ka'ovid, because clearly then he's doing it for you and not for himself, and therefore that becomes clearly problematic. Says the Mishnah Berurah Sivkot and Tez Zayin. So if a non-Jewish person bakes bread for himself on Shabbos, yesh oisrim yesh matirim. What's the story of the yesh oisrim? Says the Mishnah Berurah Tez Zayin, Shema hoysa ben hashmoshes kemach isa, because at ben hashmoshes, at the onset of Shabbos, this was flour or it was a dough. She'ena roi lokus, you can't chew it. Viskatzoy ben hashmoshes, and therefore it's muksa the whole of ben hashmoshes. Va'afilim neima dahayu oz chitim d'roi lokus. And even if you want to tell me that at that point it was actually chitim and you can chew chitim, and therefore it wasn't muktzah. But it wasn't, it wasn't edible in the state that it is now. Because an Issa Deraisa has occurred, i.e. you've done a baking, and now it's become bread, and therefore it's an issue of noilat. So one reason why you can't eat bread baked by a non-Jew that he did it for himself is because of muktzah, or possibly noilat. There's a second reason why those who are aser it. You might instruct, it might encourage you to instruct him to cook for you. If a non-Jewish person puts a light on for himself, you're allowed to benefit from that light. When it comes to eating, a person is more eager, and therefore there's more room to be geyser. Because I'm Mogen Avram, Basimin Tov Kuf Yud Zayin, the Medira Mechaber Sham Mashma Desvirei Katam Zeh. He also holds of this reason. Okay, so two reasons why, if a non-Jewish person bakes bread for himself, you cannot have it. Number one, of muktzah. Number two, because of Shema Yarba Vishvila. You might actually ask him to cook for you on Shabbos. That's the yesh oisrim. V'yesh matirim, Sivkot Yud Zayin. We don't differentiate between food and non-food issues. Given shemikol mokum also b'shvil atzma. At the end of the day, he did it for himself. He didn't do it for you, and therefore you're allowed to benefit from it. And that's regarding the shema yar b'shvilei. With regard to muktzah, he holds given shahoya yechelis b'yadein yudi legamrei. Since when he had this on erev Shabbos, it was in his ability to complete it and to bake it. Ein al zeh shem muktzah v'noilot. It was in his, he had the option and the ability to do it, so it's not really considered muktzah. He had the flour and he had all the oil and the eggs and whatever, and it was biyadai to finish it off. It's not really considered muktzah. Kosev beis Yosef b'shem arzorah shele divrei hakol im bishel ofa eved Yisrael b'Shabbos. If your eved, your servant, your helper, baked afilu l'tzorech atzma, even for himself. Even on the first Shabbos that he's employed with you, where he doesn't know whether you're going to eat from it or not, there even the yesh matirim asks it, because he might do it next week, and and therefore that would be the Shem Yisrael, and that would not be allowed. Okay, so if a guy bakes bread for himself on Shabbos, yesh oisrim v'yesh matirin, and we say b'shas hatchak or l'tzorech mitzvah, we allow it. So it says the Mishnah Berurah b'shas hatchak. What would that be? Kagoin shedar b'kfar yechidi. You're living in a faraway place. She'iev shelos lishol pas michavera. You can't borrow challahs. Has anyone got? You go to your neighbor and ask for a spare challah. That's, yeah. So if you're in Penzance or in Cornwall and you haven't got a neighbor who could lend you a spare challah, then that would be a shas adchak. Okay, and then we carry on. We say yesh lismoich ala matirin. Sif kotzen yutes mikol mokum yizahe shelo likroi oisei lebeisei. Mikol mokum yizahe shelo likroi oisei lebeisei lifrei ledamov. So we can be semich on the matirin that we're allowed to eat the challah, the bread baked by the non-Jewish person for the guy, for himself on Shabbos. However, don't be careful. Don't call him over to your house. He should take some money for the bread that you had. Then, because that's problematic, that's business on Shabbos. That's not allowed. Yeah, okay, what's that? It's 15. If you look at 15, Sham Kosva Shulchan Aruch she'also lo melechenvoni ten li scher bekach v'kach mois. We said previously, you're not allowed to tell a non-Jewish storekeeper, can you give me merchandise, and you mention the schum of the money, for £10, for $20, whatever it is. That's derech mekach umemka. The cost of haramosham shedavke im mazkir es schum hamois also. Mentioning the amount of money is the problem. Kogon shekonom echenvoni suchera Kedim Shabbos v'nisha chayiv lo mois, and you owe him money. Or ba Shabbos elechenvoni v'omer lo tenli oid schera bekach v'kach mois. Sorry, he owes you. You got some credit, so you say, look, you owe me £10. Can you please give me, this, the milk and I know the chocolate or whatever else. You owe me £10. I'm taking £5 worth of goods, and you do a cheshbon. That's not allowed. For Kosmish Neburasham, Sheroi v'nochen moed lahachme b'kedas ha'shulchan aruch. Okay. Now this is a bit like the Antwerp case. You just go into the store and you say you want the newspaper or whatever it is, and he does the cheshbon himself. That would be allowed. Don't forget to write me in the ledger that you keep a cheshbon of how much I owe you. He's doing it for his own benefit, that he shouldn't forget. On the contrary, etc. So that could be the heter of why, at least in the olden days, it was the practice in Antwerp, that you could go wherever. Okay, whatever. I don't want to make it. Yeah. Yeah. All right, bottle of Coke. Okay, bottle of Coke. Okay, Beseda. So good. Okay, so just to summarize, Sif Daled, that if a non-Jewish person bakes a challah, again, it's kosher. There's no issue of trephus there. He bakes a challah. The guy bakes a challah for himself. We have two opinions, Yesh Oisrim, Yesh Matzir, and the Yesh Oisrim answer it for two reasons. One is because of Muktzah, and the second reason is because you might be encouraged to ask him to bake for you in future. And Yesh Matzir, we're not really worried for either of those reasons. B'shas Atchak, L'tzorech Mitzvah, we're allowed to be Soimech on the Matzirim, but even on the Matzirim, you can't ask him to come and collect money or to take money. You can't deal with any of that on Shabbos. Good. Sif Hey. Einu Yehudi, Shetzod Dogim, Oiliket Peiris La'atzma. If a guy catches fish on Shabbos, or liket peris la'atzmai, asurim Yisrael. Yisrael can't have those fish or those fruit that he picked. Va'afilu sofek im liktan etzadan hayom asurim babim. And even if you're not sure, did he catch them or pick them today or before Shabbos, that would not be allowed. Aval le'erev mutarim miyad, but on Motzei Shabbos it would be allowed to eat them straight away. Afilu im vaday liktan etzadan hayom, even if he definitely picked or caught them today. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Sif Kotzen Chafalov, Shetzod Dogim, Obozeh Kula Alma, Maidu De'asa, Mishum Dehu Vadai Muktzah. There, it's for sure Muktzah, Shelitzoyde B'Shabbos, because he caught them on Shabbos, V'lohi Muzmon Me'esmon, therefore they weren't prepared yesterday. V'chol Shekenen, Ha'isrim Gam B'Pas B'Sif Dalet, the Lav Dafke Shetzod Ein Yehudi, even if he actually didn't catch them actively, but rather they were caught by he laid the trap before Shabbos, even then it's not allowed. Or he picked fruit for you. Even to himself, for himself, you can't have those fruits. Gam kain mishum muktzah, because in Erev Shabbos they were still on the tree. The mechubarin hoyu ben hashmoshes. The gam to gozrin bezeh shem yalav yitleish, and we also geizer with this that you might come and climb the tree and pick more. or just pick more. Just like you can't eat the fruit that fell off by themselves. You come down Shabbos morning to your garden and you see a nice apple there that fell off the tree. That's muksa because of gezer shem yalav yitlosh. You might go up and pick some more. And a person is keen when it comes to food, he might be tempted to pick more. The gam bekal hulatolshan is quite easy to pick them. It's no worse than if it was picked by a non-Jewish person. Either way, it wasn't picked by a Yisrael. 17, interesting one. So too, you could ask, well, what is the difference between that and putting on a light? Because if he puts on a light, it's also a malacha color. You just press a switch. And yet, if a guy does it for himself, we're allowed to sit in the room. It's only a problem if he does it for you. But if he puts on a light for himself, you can benefit from it. You're allowed to benefit from the light that the guy did for himself. The reason is, why? There's two issues. You're eager when it comes to you're eager when it comes to food, and you might come to pick more. Number one, and number two, I've just lost the place. It's very easy to go and pick it. You might come and pick another fruit. When it comes to the lighting, there's only one issue over there. That it's a light thing, then you're not lohut in the same way you are for food. Okay, good. Asurim Yisrael, bein b'achila bein b'tiltil, v'afilu sofek, the sofek muchen asa, that if you're not sure that whether or not this was ready before Shabbos or not, it's also why. We're going to say that it's they're even moed in this situation. But in the case of Sofek, we say that maybe they were actually caught or picked today. But if it's clear that they were picked or they were caught from Erev Shabbos, could go in Perish Nichmashu, they're a bit withered, and you can see they're not so fresh, and therefore clearly they were picked on Erev Shabbos. Also the fish were a little bit sort of withered. Shari, that would be okay. We don't say that you should wait b'chtesh yasu. The dafka k'sha'os ha'melacha b'shvil Yisrael hu degazru le'esa be'erev al k'tesh yasu. When do we say b'chtesh yasu? Only if the melacha was done for Yisrael. But if the guy, as it is in the case over here, picked it for himself, then we don't impose the Chedesh Yasu. We'll see in the next sif. Then we're not worried. Okay, Vov. Im lokat liket v'tzod b'shvil Yisrael. If, however, he picks it or he traps fishes or something for the Yisrael, then or if he does it for both, he picks, he catches a few fish and he'll decide to sell them or give them to either Yisrael or in Yehudi, then we say there's a problem of b'chtesh yasu. Says the Mishnah Berurah Chafov, liket v'tzad hu adin b'chol ha'melachos d'oraisa she'osu in Yehudi b'shvil Yisrael. And so to any other melacha a guy does for Yisrael, afilu asa me'atzmei b'lo tzivui Yisrael, even if he does it himself without instruction. Could become b'simen tov kuf tesvov ayin shom b'beis Yosef b'shvil Yisrael ben Yehudim. Or if he does it for both, could go and show him mechse Yisrael mechse en Yehudim in the town. There are half Jews, half non-Jews. Or b'yodua shegam Yisrael tzod v'liket after arov hayu en Yehudim. Even if the majority are not Jewish. Melekam b'simen tov kuf tesvov tzivov ba'agah ayin b'meshikosav nulei b'simen reish ayin vov b'vei halacha. So even if it's a majority non-Jewish, but there are some Jews in town, then we'd still be worried. You have to wait. At the end of the day, since the malacha was done for a Yisrael, you can't get any hano ad motzei Shabbos b'chtesh yasu. Or b'Shabbos gufa b'tilton amyosa, and certainly on Shabbos there'd be also, but b'simen tov kuf tesvav. But lav dafka b'tzod, not only with tzod. Duadim b'chol melachas. Any melacha done by a guy for Yisrael, v'chanal, you got to wait b'chtesh yasu. V'atam da osru lakol ad b'chtesh yasu shelo yehonu melacha hanas b'shvil Yisrael b'Shabbos. וגם דגוזו שיהיה מוטה מיד מוצאי שבס, יאמרו לאין יהודי בשבס להכין שהיא מזומן על מוצאי שבס מיד. Because the concern is that you'd be encouraged to ask him to do it on Shabbos, and therefore Chazal made a knas that you've got to wait Motzei Shabbos b'chdei sheyasu. Now what is b'chdei sheyasu? Says the Mishnah Chof Tes, mevu lekaman siman tov kuf tes vav, haynu shir sheyelech an yud b'Motzei Shabbos l'mokum shelokat v'yilkot sham acherim v'yachzor lekan. I.e., the amount of time it will take to go to my field, pick, or for the guy to go to the field, pick the fruit, and then come back. So an hour, whatever it is, then you've got to wait that time until Motzei Shabbos for you to eat it. And what if you don't know where he got it from? Where his field is? You work it out that he went to chutz l'tchum, which is, let's say, half an hour away or something like that, till 15 minutes away. And if he brought it on a horse, then you work it out. So if he went by foot, it could be, I think the tchum would be like 15-20 minutes. If he went by car, it would be 5 minutes. So then you work it out according to the method of transport. Whether or not a guy is believed there we distinguish between deraisa drabonon, and for drabonon we believe him, and for deraisas we don't believe him. That's the general rule. Okay, let's just do one more sif. Sif side. Sofek im lockdown b'shvil Yisrael. You're not sure. He picked some fruits, and you don't know what his intention was. It's a sofek whether he did it for Yisrael, or there's another sofek. He definitely did it for Yisrael. He went to his garden to pick you some nice apples, but you don't know whether he did it today or yesterday. Today Shabbos or yesterday before Shabbos. Asurim b'bayom. Then it's also, if it's a suffix, it's also. Or le'erev b'chdei sheyasu. In Motzei Shabbos, you've got to wait b'chdei sheyasu. V'yesh oimim to le'erev mutabiyad. And there are those who say on erev you can Motzei Shabbos, you can do it straight away. So what's the issue? Suffix im likton. Says the Mishnah Lisif Kotten Lamed. Kugoin. She'ein Yehudi Amal Yisrael. Litin le'peres b'Shabbos. That the guy said to the Yisrael, I've got some nice fruit for you. V'holach le'beis hein Yehudi v'noson le'peres. And you went to your neighbor's house, and you went and you took his apple. You took the apples that he had picked. To sofek him liket el b'shvil. You're not sure whether he picked them for you or not. He's got some apples in his fruit bowl from his garden. Did he do it for you or for himself? Unclear. Oy choshav lilket acherim b'shvile ve'elu lokat la'atzim etchila. Or he did it for others. Ve'elu lokat la'atzim etchila. Maybe these were initially for him. You're just not sure. Avleini yehudi shevi during Yisrael they have a sofek. But if he did it, he brought you a gift. Then there's no suffix. I mean, the vada b'shvil lockdown. For sure, he did it for you. V'chein im hevi pas chamel Yisrael. So too, if he baked or if he brought you a nice hot bread, Amrin the vada b'shvil offer. For sure, he did it for you, and then it's going to be also. Or he definitely did it for you, but you just don't know when he did it. Ve'ein yodua gamzeh lav behavi durin mar. We're not talking about bringing a gift. He's got some bread in his home, or he's got some apples in his dish, and you don't know when he picked them. The behavi durin, because if he brought a gift. He for sure did it on Shabbos. Why? The he's going to do it fresh. When your neighbor will come in with some peaches that he picked from his garden, he didn't pick them yesterday, he picked them fresh today. This is what I just picked. In that situation with a gift, it would be also b'chdei sheyasa Motzei Shabbos. Now, asurim b'bayim v'le'erev. So why is it that we're machmir when we have a sofek? Either sofek is, did he do it for you? Or he did it for you, but you just don't know if he did it on Shabbos or Erev Shabbos. Why are we machmir? V'atam the osrim is sofek afshu milsa drabonon, because it's a drabonon. All of this is a non-Jewish picking it for you for Shabbos. The sveika lekula. Nevertheless, mishum du dova sheish nematirin. When anything which will become permitted after time, we are on the side of caution. She'ef shelahamdin al Motzei Shabbos. You can just wait till Motzei Shabbos. V'im hoyu shnei hasfeikas yachad. And if you got two sveikas together, i.e. im tolshem b'Shabbos, did he pick it on Shabbos? V'gam im tolshem b'shvil Yisrael. And even if he did it on Shabbos, did he do it for you? Then b'Shabbos gufa also. then on Shabbos it's still also because then you come on to what we had previously of Sofik Muchan and Kanal Basifei, like we said previously. And therefore there's no reason to be Choshesh for B'chtei Shiyasu. In that situation you can have it on Motzei Shabbos straight away. Even in this situation with one Sofik, we allow you to have it straight away. They didn't impose a Chedesh Yasu in the case of Sofik. But on Shabbos itself, because of Muktzah, if there's just one Sofik, did he pick it today or not? We say it's Asa. When it comes to Muktzah, we are more machmir than other drabanans. V'chanal b'sifhei. Uladina kosev al Rabbi the mashma me'achronim the yesh lismech al yesh oimrim hazeh the ein lahach min Motzei Shabbos, and you can have it straight away. Aval b'chaya odam kosev the ein lahak rak l'tzorich mitzvah. V'chein mashma me'ish lavrom sif kotin yudches the ein lahak b'zeh v'shekein hichriya beis Yosef b'simen tov kuf tesvav. Good, say that.